and welcome to Top 2. I'm Avi Bernard.
I'm Danny Griffin.
And I'm Chris Walton.
Top 2 is a show where we talk about our top 2 topics of the week, and it can be topics from any area of life, any area of society and culture, whether it's news, sports, politics, or anything else. And today, as you have heard, we have a different co-host with us. He is guest co-hosting, and Chris Walton is a former chair of the Democratic Party of Milwaukee County, and he is also going to be a delegate at the Democratic National Convention. Chris, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man, really excited to have you here. This is really informal. We really just shoot the shit and talk about, as I said, our top 2 topics. But I think we all know what our topics are going to be today. And so, first of all, I mean, anything major happened over the weekend? Just a regular weekend for everybody, right? No major news, no major events happening, nothing going on?
Absolutely quiet all weekend. Haven't heard a thing.
Okay, cool. Yeah, just making sure that we're all on the same page. No, but obviously, major news of the weekend, and this is something we've talked about the last couple of weeks on the show, is whether President Joe Biden will continue his campaign for re-election. And on Sunday, as we record this today is Sunday, he dropped out this morning on the West Coast, this afternoon on the East Coast. And talking about this on the show the last couple of weeks, I've been of the mindset, and it's been getting my conviction on this has been getting stronger and stronger, that President Biden should not continue his re-election campaign just because of the perceptions that he's too old to do the job, that have just been growing among the American population. And obviously he's been a wonderful president, and it was never anything like personal. It's all about getting elected this time and beating Donald Trump this time. That's the most important job every Democrat has this time. And so my calculus after that debate was just that perception was only going to grow stronger, and there's nothing he could do to take that back, to put that toothpaste back in the tube. And now he's done it. And so the first thing that I want to do, that everyone's doing today, and we should, is to give Biden his props, give him his flowers, say that he's been a wonderful president. I mean, spent more on climate change than anyone has ever done. A monumental infrastructure bill, I believe more money towards infrastructure than any president has ever been able to get. Lowered prescription drug prices, first Black woman on the Supreme Court, had the first Black woman vice president as his running mate, and thus she became the first female vice president and first Black female vice president, first South Asian vice president. So just a long list, and there's more, and there's a long list of accomplishments that he's had, and this decision that he's made to step away from the race, is to step aside in the race, is just a perfect display of his selflessness and his patriotism, and him putting the country first because he believes this to be the best move for the country. But Chris, I want to just ask for your opinion on, or I guess, where were you when this happened, and what were your initial thoughts when this happened?
So for me, I was actually driving back from doing a campaign event out in Ohio, and it was, I'm driving. It's about a 6-hour drive from Columbus, Ohio to Washington, D.C. And my phone rings, and just a text message. And it was like, you know what? Like, oh, okay, we do not condone texting and driving. We do not condone reading this.
We do not. No, we do not.
Just for the record. But yeah, the world collapsed. It was withdrawn. Biden has withdrawn. And my phone did the scream of death when I get a million text messages and emails and tweets and Facebook notifications. Everybody in the world just started talking to me. And so I spent 6 hours on the phone, and have been on the phone pretty much all night, talking about what's next. Where do we go from here? What's going to happen?
Yeah, man. Danny, what about you? What was your where were you when you found out, and what were your initial thoughts?
So I was well, of all places. So I was in Irvine, California, nice city. We have I had to attend a wedding this weekend, so it was a great
Okay.
weekend. And then God wakes you up this morning and that's what you hear. I had inclinations that obviously we all did. And everybody knows somebody that knows somebody. we all knew that this was going to be the ultimate choice. You know, the money, donors, just like in college athletics and
Mhm.
a lot of other areas in this particular country, these donors have a lot of influence. Let's say
Mhm.
that, and a lot of
Mhm.
swaying power. Um, and I wasn't that familiar with the amount of power that the donors had in the political sector. I know about it in athletics, being a former coach and player. Uh, so I was just kind of sitting back, and then I find out that you know President Biden was going to try to do something that's unprecedented and still try to campaign, even though the money's going out the opposite way. And and I'm like, wow, can he do that? Yeah, I say, yeah, he can, because I wasn't aware of how important the money is. Because I guess the deciding factor was spending, well, we spent over $3 million in funds, and Trump was spending 300 and they was like, wait a minute, we're losing in the polls and we're spending way more money. Something's wrong here. This pendulum is shifting. And then, then people just start talking, and I was like, oh man, it's over. And I was just shocked. Even though we all knew that's something that we didn't want to face, right? So I'm just shocked, and I'm like, what do we do now? And here we are, man, all day long. Everybody's watching, listening, and everybody's
Mhm.
thinking, like, what do we do? How do we mobilize? And I was like, man, we all got a little political inclination, and we all helped. I went to both inaugurations with President Obama. We did, some help here and there, but we didn't go all in. A lot of people have never went all in. I got a funny feeling that this time around, everybody's gonna go all in, regardless of what
Man.
side you on.
Oh yeah, we got to go all in, man. And it is notable that the donors were so vocal about Biden stepping aside, or they were going to stop donating. But I don't think it was just the donors. I think it was also, obviously, we had 3 dozen elected members of elected Democrats in Congress calling on President Biden to step aside. We had, um, we had voters. In the polls, in the last poll I saw before he stepped aside was 65% of Democrats think that he should step aside. And so I think it was just the time. It was the time for Biden to step aside. And just like we needed him in 2020 to be the guy, even though a lot of people weren't, it wasn't like, oh, everyone was super inspired by Biden, like they were inspired by like Obama or inspired by Bernie Sanders or somebody else. But he was the guy. He was the right guy for that moment in 2020, and he stepped up and he did a great freaking job, man. He did an amazing job as president, and the fact that he was willing to step aside despite the fact that he did not want to. He did not want to do this. He he wanted to keep going. He felt he still had a chance to beat Trump, but then you start seeing all these polls in states that aren't even swing states, like Virginia and Minnesota, and it was just looking precarious. And he said, you know what, I'm going to do the best thing for the country, and I'm gonna step aside and let Kamala Harris. And he endorsed Kamala Harris, and we'll get into that for our second topic. But what do you make of the timing, Chris? What do you were you surprised by this? I know that you were Team Biden, and we texted during this process, and you said I'm gonna support Joe Biden until he tells me not to. And so yeah, and I can appreciate that. So what would like what do you make of this timing though?
All of this time and everything just kind of it was now or never,
Mm-hmm.
honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the decision process, what really was the trigger point that made me realize something was about to move. People been talking, they talk, whatever. It's DC. If you want a friend, get a dog. If when the family started talking, when it came, I remember NBC put like Friday, NBC put up a post, discussions coming from Biden family on
Mhm.
how to drop out. And I'm like, whoa, this family is not going to talk. If they're getting leaks from inside the family, that's that's not a leak. That's a direct quote.
Mm.
Because who's gonna go up against Joe Biden in that family? Jill's gonna go out there and tell the media no? I think he should get out. Hunter's gonna
No,
come out and say, I think he should hop out.
nope.
This is a very tightly knit family. This
Very
is a
low. Yeah, they are close. They're close and they're loyal to each other.
hmm this is a family. They're not gonna walk out and do him like that. And so the fact that they had a quote on NBC saying that, that was for me like, oh, this is we are in the end game. Um, for me going forward though with the whole situation, honestly, I have a couple different feelings on this.
Mhm.
I'm I'm sad to see how it ended for him. I think that for us to have a leader who has literally given his entire life in service of this country. This man has been a United States Senator since he was 29. He literally has lost a wife and a daughter,
Mhm.
remarried,
Two
had
daughters,
another
I think. Oh, no, wait. One daughter and
one
then
daughter.
okay, one daughter and a wife. And he almost lost his both of his sons in that same accident. And then he
Mhm.
would later lose Bo. Right, right,
Yeah.
right.
And so you've seen everything. You had 36 years in the US Senate. You were the vice president of the United States. You were retired. You took a break for about a year and a half because that's really what that was. You took a year and a half break and said, I'm going back in. And you came out and knocked out a sitting incumbent president.
Which is not easy. That is, I mean,
That ain't
incumbents
easy.
don't lose, man. Incumbents do not lose, hardly ever.
That's hard, but you did it. And you did it through your force of will, through your moral clarity and leadership. People genuinely like Joe Biden. I'm not happy with how he's been turned away because I of all because of Joe Biden and the things that he's accomplished as president. I also am pissed because suddenly in all of in all of history, Democrats suddenly figured out how to keep a damn message together. He's done great. He's done this. He's an exceptional man. He flies. Did you know he flies? He actually saved a kid over there from getting hit by a car. Where the fuck was y'all at these last 3.5 years when nobody could come up with a cohesive message?
Hmm.
Nobody could say anything. Well, he's doing okay. He's doing this, but everything is always but.
Mhm.
And now suddenly, as we're getting ready to, you go push him out the door. Now it's, oh, well, he did this and he did this and he did this and he did this. What the fuck? So there's a conversation that needs to be had about that. There's absolutely a conversation that needs to be had about that, and I am disgusted by that.
Well, let
On
me
the
ask you though. Let me ask you though, Chris. I mean, do you think he was unfairly pushed out, or do you think he needed to go in order for us to have a chance to beat Donald Trump?
I haven't been privy to the internal polling. Some of the things that I'm seeing is saying that the internal polling was bad, and I'm guessing it must have been. Otherwise, he wouldn't have stepped out like this. But at the same time, it's just I just hate to see somebody. He was the one who did it right. You get in early, you get out there and fight, you show how important it is, and you show your mental, and you serve the country, and you keep serving the country because the people keep saying, we want you to serve us and be our voice. And so for me, as somebody who's been doing politics for 20 years now, my first campaign was in 2004. And
Wow.
so like that's a model for me. Like
Mhm.
you get in early, you work hard, you do your job, and you keep moving up the ladder. He did that. And so to see, you don't everybody get to be JFK as president.
Right.
You don't everybody gonna be young and glamorous as president.
Right.
Most people who are young and glamorous don't want to be president. They being young and glamorous. I'm not young and glam. Well, I'm young, but I ain't glamorous, and so I want to do this. And being involved in politics is like this is a lifetime calling. This is a mission. This is a service mission. And so I hate to see him get dragged out like this and pushed out like this. On the other hand, I am 1000% behind Vice President Harris. Strongly, enthusiastically support her. Cannot wait to vote for her. I have a little black girl in my life who is going to probably look a little bit like her as she gets older. And I can't wait till she gets up and reads her history book one day and looks at that picture and goes, I can do that.
I
Not
mean
just
that.
because my uncle is in politics, but
Mhm.
because, oh, she looks just like me.
I
I
mean
can do that.
that's if the Republicans haven't stricken that book from circulation, if they haven't banned that book yet. I
Well, that's
mean
what you got uncle for.
that's
That's
why
what you
we
got
got
uncle for.
right. That's why we gotta have this fight. So I mean, I totally hear what you're saying, and I also feel bad for Joe because he did want to keep going, and it didn't end the way he wanted to, but he got to be president.
Yeah.
I mean, not everybody gets that. I mean, there are people who have given their whole life. I mean, I mentioned Bernie Sanders earlier. He's never going to get to be president, and he was deserving, in my opinion. I mean, I think he would have been a great president and would have been all about the people. And so, you know, Joe did get to have that. He's going to be remembered as a great president, and the fact that he got to finish off his political career as president, I think is a marvelous thing. And so, I I was actually on my way to get a workout in finally. I've been so busy, both y'all know I got this baby coming this week, and so I've been so busy with everything, and I I was finally on my way to get a workout in today, and it was our co-host who's not here today, Shaun, who texted me and Danny in the group chat. He just said Biden out, and I was like, what the fuck, what? Because I've been refreshing the news sites every 2 minutes. I mean, I have not been able to think about almost anything else other than this baby and my son and Joe Biden. I mean, ever since the debate, I haven't been able to think about anything other than that's like been at the top of my mind. And so I've been looking at all the news and okay, who's gonna defect now? Who's gonna call from the dropout now? Who is, what's gonna happen next? And so I've been on top of it. And finally I'm in my car and I get that text. Also, like you, not condoning texting and driving. I was at a stoplight. And so and I saw Biden. I was like, wait a second, let me pull up. And I pull up NBC News. I was like, whoa. And he actually did it. And so, man, what a monumental moment. And it's just it is a show of selflessness that will never be forgotten. And so, moving on to topic number 2, what comes next? Kamala Harris. So I do want to talk about you being a delegate, Chris, because you are going to be in that convention hall. And I mean, I know you've been on the phone all day. Have you gotten calls from the Harris campaign? Like, I know that she's already trying to whip delegates and get the temperature. And have you got any calls, or what's if you can share? If you can't share, totally understand. But what's been going on with you? I know it's been a crazy day for you.
It has indeed been a crazy day. It has been my phone is probably gonna sleep well tonight.
I don't know, it might keep blowing up. You're gonna have to put it on silent.
Oh, it's going on silent. It's going on silent. It's been a serious moment of where, I've gotten so many phone calls in today. I've talked to elected officials. I've talked to super delegates. I've talked to my fellow delegates who are going to be representing Wisconsin. And I've talked to delegates who are from other states. The media has been trying to chase me down, asking me questions. I have been very much so in high demand, as I'm sure the other 4,000 plus delegates across America are, who are going to be representing our country at the Democratic National Convention in Chicago this August. I can't say who specifically have I been privy to the conversations.
Mm-hmm.
But I am very much so as a delegate from the state of Wisconsin. I will strongly and enthusiastically be supporting Vice President Harris to be the Democratic nominee for president. I think she is more than capable of doing this job. I think she is beyond talented enough to do this job. I think former Vice President wouldn't have picked her to be former Vice President Biden wouldn't have picked her to be vice president if he didn't think she was capable of the job, having been in that job. And I'm sure President Biden wouldn't be handing this off to her if he didn't think she was capable of being president. And so with all of that, her amazing background as a district attorney, her amazing background as the former attorney general of the state of California, her amazing background as a United States senator from California, and she had some time growing up in Wisconsin.
Oh, did she? I didn't know that about her.
Oh yeah, she spent a couple of years in her childhood in Madison, Wisconsin. So on behalf of all of that, I don't know if I want to use that hashtag, but I'm with her.
There you go. Hey, I'm with her too. I'm and also enthusiastically supporting her. So, Danny, I want to ask you this though, because for me, my main concern is the misogyny and the racism that we all know continues to exist. I think the only reason Hillary Clinton lost in 2016 is because of the misogyny that did not want to see a woman be president. And now you have a woman of color, a black woman. So you have misogyny. You have the cocktail of racism and misogyny, racism and sexism. And so I don't know. What are your thoughts, Danny? Do you think how are you feeling about Harris being the likely nominee? Because it does seem at this point like she's going to be the nominee. I mean, she's already gotten the endorsement from Biden right off the bat. She got endorsed from the Clintons. Most of the people who would have been challenging her, who people have been having these dreams of them being the nominee, like Governor Gavin Newsom of California, Governor Josh Shapiro of Pennsylvania. I mean, Mark Kelly of Arizona, the senator from Arizona. These are some of the people who are most mentioned as people who were going to be competing with her. And now that they've endorsed her, I mean, I'm seeing less and less people who would even be viable, opponents, viable candidates. So, but how are you feeling about her prospects? Assuming she's the nominee, all that to say, assuming she's the nominee, how are you feeling about her chances, Danny?
And it's strange, man, because first of all, the Democratic Party delegates, everybody kind of knew where this was going. So they've been internally working on this without it actually leaking out. Everybody's been contemplating this. They say they haven't, but they are. They were. And that's why you see the unity in the Democratic Party, right? If it was in disarray and everybody got blindsided, everybody would be all over the place. Even though you have a couple of people, I won't say their names, that are saying we need to do primaries, we need to do some town hall meetings, and they trying to do all this stuff. Man, get out of here with that. I mean, anybody got time for that? Let's get Vice President Harris with the 3 other viable candidates, and let's go. Let's rock. Let's go on a barnstorming tour. Man, if you don't get out of here, this ain't Live Nation. You tripping. You're going to confuse people. The Democratic Party is already on the same page, man. And that's so that's good and bad for some people, because you got to understand that if her political, I don't want to say adversaries, but in-house adversaries, the people that she was going to go against for the presidency, are now endorsing her and ain't even fighting. Like, wait a minute, something's wrong here, right? It's like everybody all in. Everybody's all in. The people that's supposed to go against her for the presidency is endorsing her.
Right.
It ain't no fight. It's nothing. They trying to be the. How you gonna try to go?
They trying to be VP now.
They trying to be the VP.
Mm-hmm.
They up there politicking. So they was politicking before today. All these sources, whatever a source is, whatever a source means, they've been politicking for a while, man. So this is the issue with me being a constituent, just being on the outside with a foot, with a little toe being on the inside. So she has a long road ahead of her, because of obviously gender, race, something that's been unprecedented. Mm-hmm. One thing for President Barack Obama to get it, but she has to cross another hurdle. And the GOP was even throwing that around. If you look at some stories and the chatter or propaganda, whatever you want to call it, of saying that if she was to run or be the president, that it would be a racist, sexist environment. So they're already throwing it out there. They're trying to get us. Is this what you guys want? Like, you guys are complaining about that now, Democrats and people that want to be treated fairly and equal. What do you think is going to happen here? So, and they're right. Let's not sugarcoat nothing. It's too late to sugarcoat stuff. We already know the level of racists and people that are against women, and then women of color. It's going to be off the chain. I just got a sickening meme just now. I just saw it online. Mm-hmm. A sickening meme. Willie Brown name coming back up. in the Hill. They got an article, all these
Mhm.
pictures. Montel Jordan little thing coming up when the people didn't know who she was, and he said, "That's Kamala Harris." You know, man, everybody's got a pass. Everybody's an ex something. This lady is black excellence. Okay, please. Ain't nobody single at home in a rocking chair. What did you expect, man? Get out of here with that. Man, I'm still voting. We still voting. Get out of here with that. Because we got felon on the other side. That's an X something. Everybody's an X something. Get out of here with that mess. My thing is this, man. At the end of the day, you know, I just thought that we was gonna go. The Democrats was gonna go with who they think can win, but it's bigger than that, man. It's not about that, because at first they were doing that, but they couldn't because there's no this time. The timing is bad. You got what, 2 or 3 weeks before the DNC? You have no time, man. If this would have been 3 months ago, I'm gonna be honest with you, she will be going against the same people that are trying to be VPs for right now. If this was 2 or 3 months ago, 100%. Because of the timing, I'm afraid that she's getting this by default. I'm afraid that she's going to be the nominee by default in so many different layers of default too, because she's the closest one. She was a VP. She's the most ready. She knows, but at the end of the day, they're going to use that against her. But if you really look at it, we do have other viable candidates. But you got the governor of Michigan. She's
Gretchen Whitmer,
right?
Yeah, Gretchen Whitmer. Yeah,
that's not going to happen. You know, it was this Golden Girls. They're not doing that. They're not going to have 2 ladies on the ticket. So throw that out of there, man. It's going to be Perry. What's the guy from North Carolina?
Roy Cooper.
Yeah, you're going to have a guy from Arizona, the space astronaut.
Mark Kelly. Mm-hmm.
Come on, man. So I talk in layman terms because everybody's not politically inclined. And I think sometimes when you have a podcast or CNN, some people don't even know who Van Jones is. And he started talking on there, and people don't know these people, Abby. They don't know these people just because they black or white, whatever it is. Sometimes you have to talk in layman terms, man.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to understand, we late in the game, right? We late in the game, and the Republicans are going to come out with the propaganda, the memes, everything possible. But at the end of the day, we need the Democratic Party to represent us, right? Doesn't matter who is, evidently it don't matter, because if they're endorsed, if the whole political Democratic Party is endorsing Kamala Harris, regardless if she's ready, regardless of
she ready. She definitely
ready. But you know, and I know, regardless of party, they don't want to endorse an African American woman. They only do it because it's default.
So, well, I mean, I don't know about the Democrats not want to do that. I think
everybody, man. Hold on, wait. How long have we had these 2 parties? How many times have women tried to run? How many times have women could have run or could have been in this position? You know what I'm saying? This ain't the first time. Let's not act brand new here. Right, like this is our time to shine. Sure. This is our time
absolutely. I mean,
through. So we ain't gonna talk about yesterday because we know it was some problems in both parties on getting women nominated in some of these higher upper echelon of positions politically. But let's not talk about that now. Let's talk about making Vice President Kamala Harris
president.
President
Kamala Harris.
Would you say first, if she becomes president, what are we gonna call her? Because we watch the TV shows.
Madam Vice President.
Yeah, we see CSI. One of the shows.
Yeah.
We call her what? Madam President.
Madam President. Yep.
And then the husband, his position will change because he's a gentleman.
He'll be the first gentleman.
But what is he now?
He's the second gentleman. Yeah, that's right.
So he move over a seat. With the same wife. That's good.
That's a big seat to move up. But no, to that point though, Chris, I mean, obviously there's a huge double standard with people already starting to bring up her past, and this is something that you could see it coming 10,000 miles away, with over sexualizing her past and claiming she slept her way to the top, or all this bullshit. Whereas motherfucking Donald Trump has been the most promiscuous person probably ever elected to the office of the president. I mean, and not only that, not just promiscuous, but
don't sell Bill short now.
He's being nice. He's being real nice.
I think Bill was in politics a lot longer, and Trump was open about Trump didn't have to hide anything. So I think Bill probably had to tamp it down for the fact that he had to hide so much stuff. But Trump, not only was he promiscuous though, but he was found liable for sexual assault. He's a philanderer. He's a serial adulterer. And y'all want to talk about Kamala Harris? and her being quote unquote promiscuous, get the fuck out of here with that shit. What do you make of the attacks that we're going to see? Obviously, not only the racism and the sexism, but that's a huge form of sexism, is that people always want to claim that women had to be sexual to get where they are.
Right. It's dog whistle bullshit politics at its finest. Whatever she did in her private life, if it was legal, if it didn't hurt anybody, if it was consensual, it's none of our goddamn business.
Right.
And that's just the end all be all of it. She is a grown ass woman and she can make the decisions that she want to make with her body. That's the damn problem we have right now, is that the Republicans don't want women making decisions of what to do with their body. It's none of their damn business who she slept with, if she slept with them, how she slept with them. It's none of their damn business.
Mm-hmm.
Find something else to do. Or as a matter of fact, let's discuss why you had an affair on your wife while she was pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about that. Let's talk about that woman you raped in a store. Let's talk about that. You want to talk about what everybody else is doing? Yeah, open that can. Let's just see how that goes for you. And honestly, I welcome this fight, because you know what we're looking at right now? We're looking at a prosecutor going against a convicted felon.
So we in the courtroom.
Yeah.
34-time convicted felon
Mm-hmm.
and a district attorney. I like those odds.
Yeah, I do too, man. I mean, I already feel a lot better. I feel, we've been dragged down by this indecision, by this, with the polls getting worse and worse, and it's been a huge cloud, I feel like, collectively, over everyone who wants democracy to continue.
Right.
And now I feel like that cloud has been not mostly, I guess, partially lifted. Obviously, we still have the huge specter of the possibility of a second Trump presidency hanging over us. But I feel like we came a long way towards also solving that by the events that took place today. And so I'm feeling very optimistic, and I think that we do all have to get in line behind Kamala Harris. And when all this started, I thought maybe an open primary would be a good idea. I mean, like a mini primary that the candidates have debates every week leading up to the convention, and then delegates vote. But I mean, the way that everyone came out for Kamala so quickly is inspiring to me. And there's no question that she's qualified. There's no question that she's ready. You mentioned her resume. I mean, she's currently the vice president. She's been vice president for almost an entire term. So she's been already, ready to do this job. And she wasn't just like, twiddling her thumbs before she became vice president. As you said, she was a senator, state attorney general. I mean, she's had a long, distinguished career. I remember when she was coming up and she was running for AG in California. I remember that. I voted for her. So, I mean, it's a really remarkable turn of events here, man. And so I'm really glad that we were able to come on and jump on and do this day, because we were going to take the day off. I mean, and then this happened. Then Danny was able to come back and jump on, and you were able to join us, Chris. Danny, any final thoughts on any of this that's happened today? Anything going forward with the race now? I mean, Kamala being the likely nominee, she's obviously not the nominee yet. But any other thoughts before we wrap up?
My thing with the impact of the money, right? So to let you know, and this has been reported across, the board, the money has just flown through the roof.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Today, millions and millions of dollars donated already because of a change, and people telling me we didn't make the right. Man, you get out of here. The money, man, follow the money, man. Must be the money. Hey, it's on. I'm excited. But I'm gonna tell you this: all constituents, I'll say it again, are not politically inclined. Okay, you can't be inclined by watching a 24-hour news network with people with agendas. All the news networks, you're going for something. My thing is, this is what I want to tell people: go get a list of words and Google them. You can find out primary take that out your vocabulary. No, we're going right to the convention. Okay, so we need to just make ourselves vocabulary ready. Okay, let's have a level of understanding. Social media is not the place to get educated about politics.
Oh
Okay,
God, no.
it's
That's a
not.
good
It's not
point.
the place.
I'm glad you said that.
Some of your text message groups, you have people that are not. Just I don't even want to talk about that. Go listen. It's like taking a poli sci class. You can do it. You can do it. Go get inclined, learn just the basic politics, understand what we're doing, and don't. Because I had a friend today say basically because one side don't follow the church, that and the other side ain't no good. That she's sitting out. And then somebody served in the military. So a lot of people are gonna sit out because they're mad. No. If you want to be mad, you're gonna be mad if we have a former commander in chief coming back with some more stuff. So my thing is learn the process, understand what's going on, make a sound decision based on yourself and not nobody else at the end of the day. Right. And I'm not promoting any side. I'm just saying, make a decision based on you and get that decision done. Get it done. The vote, mail, however you want to do it, stand in line, mail, whatever. Just make sure it's counted and you did what you wanted to do and not following no Swift, no Chris Brown, me, you, nobody. Let's make our own decisions and make the right decision for you, yourself, your family, your community.
No, man, I'm really glad you said that. I am really fucking glad you said that because there's a lot of ignorant shit going on circulating on the internet right now. I mean, people are saying that she's not even eligible because both of her parents aren't natural born citizens, even though she was born here. So, I mean, and there's somebody that tweeted this dumb shit. There's a graphic on CBS that says, she's 59 years old, first woman, Black American and South Asian American to be elected vice president, former senator from California, former California attorney general. Some fucking Nimrod said, quote, she is Indian. She is not a Black American. Yet this graphic doesn't even have the word Indian on it. This is propaganda, close quote. Okay, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? You can first of all, it says South Asian. All right. It says South Asian on the graphic. So that's covered. And you can be more than one thing. She is Black American. So this is just you bringing that up, Danny, about not getting educated on social media and just really doing your research. And that's one thing that's pissed me off is this whole Donald Trump decade almost that we've been dealing with this motherfucker now. Hard to believe it's almost been that long, but I mean, is that people don't know what the fuck they're talking about and they aren't willing to learn. They just make assumptions. And I heard someone say, well, Biden was president when Roe v. Wade was overturned, so it's his fault. What? Yeah. And so just the dumbest shit you can imagine. And so just really grateful that you said that, Danny, because just fucking read, man. This is an important decision that's going to affect your life. And you got to do some research, man. The answer's not always going to be given to you, even though it is kind of given to you because you can just look at Donald Trump and look at any of his past history and see that he's not been an honest person. He's a terrible person. He cheats at everything. And so anyway, Chris, anything else you want to say before we get up out of here?
Let's go to work.
Man. Yeah, one sentence. And
he's a delegate, man. He's on the inside, man. He about to work. That's all he about to do is work.
One sentence and encapsulates everything perfectly. I mean, we got to get to work. I mean, I haven't felt this optimistic in a while. I haven't felt this optimistic since maybe the State of the Union.
Yeah.
I felt really optimistic after that. Yeah, because Joe did a great job at that. He killed that. And since then, it's been, it's been tough, but we got a shot, and it's obviously it's not a done deal at all, man. I mean, she has work to do. We all have work to do, and it's not guaranteed what's going to happen. She could still very well lose. Donald Trump could still win. We still know we talked about the racism and the misogyny and the sexism. So we got a lot of work to do to educate people and continue having these conversations. So Chris, man, thank you for taking the time to join us today, despite everything that's been happening. And I know you got a lot going on, not only today, but just going forward. You are a hot commodity right now. I mean, all the delegates are, man. Y'all are, y'all are doing the work for us and going and making it official for us. So keep doing the work, man, and fighting the good fight. And really appreciate you joining us today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Man, always. Oh, and where can people keep up with you?
Chris Walton MKE on Twitter. I ain't calling it that. I'm gonna call it Twitter. I'm gonna call it Twitter. I'm gonna call it Twitter.
Yeah, X is a stupid name. I always said that. And Chris was a frequent regular on my show back on KBLA when I still had that show. So appreciate you, Chris. Appreciate you, Danny. Also, I know that you had a busy day too, and we were going to take the day off. So thanks for jumping on as well.
Anytime, man. For democracy.
That's right. Hey, man.
I got on red, white, and blue in here today.
That's true. That's funny. We're only publishing the audio, but I didn't even notice that. Chris got on a blue shirt. I'm wearing a red shirt, and Danny has on a white shirt. So
go figure. Hey, he on the inside. Look at who would have noticed that?
I still got my shirt.
You got a shirt on.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate both of y'all, and we're going to be talking about this a lot going forward, obviously. So, hey, as you said, Chris, I'm with her, and the show comes out every Monday. Oh, and by the way, one programming note: since my second son is supposed to come this coming Wednesday, I will not be on next week. I'm not sure. I know we talked about having a hiatus. We might start that hiatus after this show for a couple of weeks, but we will be back. If not, Chris and Danny by themselves next Monday, then a couple Mondays from now. So we'll talk to y'all then, and thanks for hanging with us. Peace.